Welcome to a short BPL podcast. In this podcast, we want to introduce you to the BPL. Newer player in particular may not be familiar with the BPL or may unsure whether to join. That's why I have two guests here today to tell you a little bit about the BPL. Thank you for being here, Salty Dane and Voracity.
Hello.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, welcome. First of all, before we go into more detail, what is the BPL? So, like I said, there are always people who are new to PoE or simply never heard of the BPL. Salty, could you briefly describe what the BPL is about, like what tasks and what goals there are?
Okay, so first of all, the BPL is a more diverse construct than it might seem at first glance. It's first and foremost just a team event. You have between 3, 4, 5 teams depending on what kind of organization we can handle beforehand, with between 200 to, I think we also had 500 people in teams at one time, but it was a bit too large. So just large teams. And your goal in the event usually is to collect unique items, to complete sets. And whenever you complete sets or find items, you get points. And everybody's contributing to a big cause, and it's like a big race, and it's just fun. It's make numbers go up is the essence of Path of Exile, and this just doubles it and makes it even better. So that's the general point inside the event. And of course, given that you make numbers go up, there will always be people who are playing a bit harder, who are sweating a bit more in the sense of the game, and they want to min-max this. They will just try hard. But there are also a lot of people who just play casually, and everybody has a place. So even if you want to sweat, or even if you don't want to sweat it, you are still very welcome to join, and everybody can contribute, even though it might not seem like this. Because, of course, you usually have 5 to 10 racers on a team, but they can't do anything at all if they're not hundreds of people supporting them. Because if everybody just contributes just one chromatic and one jeweler, one fusing, you usually have 3 to 4 really good body armors for those. So everything that you do matters, even though you might not think it does. When I'm talking about this, the more elitist part of the event. But yeah, that's it.
Yeah, for sure. Voracity, talking about Racer, you are one of the racers and you are involved now in several BPLs. Do you remember the first time when you joined the BPL?
I do. This is going back to Ritual League, I think, if I remember correctly. Would have been BPL 3.
Wow.
And I was joining that BPL essentially as I was unaware of what the event truly was. I think a lot of people were back then, because it was still a relatively new event. Back then it was under Badger's leadership still. Now it just sort of carries on the name for the acronym. It's not really official anymore. But yeah, when I joined that BPL, I was unaware of what it truly was. Primarily through the teamwork aspect of it. I joined just thinking, oh, I'd do my own thing. And essentially, I had quite selfish reasons for joining. It was just a restart. I'd do... what would it have been back then? It would have just been a Cyrus run. Yeah. But as I was playing the event, I started getting naming lights, which then eventually caused me to get noticed by my team. And then, as that happened, I realized that, wait, these people are actually helping me. These people are actually sat on a Discord, which I didn't even know at the time. I was just in my own world, completely. And yeah, I saw the teamwork in action. I saw how much people were willing to do. And after the initial race, which very much was just a for fun race back then, I don't even remember if it had points. I think it maybe did. It was either points or a supporter pack. I should remember this. But yeah, after the race, I actually ended up re-rolling when my original intention was to quit. Which wouldn't be my attitude these days at all. I'll play the entire BPL because I love the event. But back then, yeah, my intention was to just quit after the race. but I re-rolled, and I re-rolled into a character that was essentially entirely designed to just help people on the team. Back then, it was XP pushing. That was a super efficient way of getting points for the team, get people to 95.
Yeah.
And so I would, I got my character up and running the day after the race, and then I just started carrying people in super juiced maps or simulacrums or 5-ways, whatever I basically had access to. So that's how my very first BPL came around, and that was a 7-day BPL. That was rough.
Oh yeah.
Doing it for 7 days. But yeah, that was my introduction to it, and I kind of became addicted to it in a sense, if you get what I mean.
Yeah, for sure.
Because it wasn't just the race, which is like mostly what I'm known for inside of BPL, right? It's the boss race, and it's just sitting in boss jail for the entire event. I like that, but I became addicted to the teamwork aspect and actually how well you got to know people. There's so many people now. In fact, the majority of my friend group that I'll play games with, even outside of PoE, can actually be tracked to BPL. In large parts, at the very least. And that was probably the greatest thing for me. And that's why I keep coming back to the event, because, yeah, I get to meet so many people.
Yeah, that's for sure. You said that you didn't even know that is a Discord where people meet up and try to help each other. And that's probably a thing the most people don't really know, that there's a lot of communication and a lot of help, even for newer player and for the racer stuff. So like Salty said as well, everyone has something to do in the team. So what is one thing you would say to players they might have doubts about if they are good at the game or if they have a place in this event?
I would honestly say definitely don't underestimate the amount of help or guidance that you can get inside of BPL. There is quite literally a place for everyone, essentially at all skill levels. I won't lie. If you're on the lower skill level end, there is some content that will be difficult for you to get into, but that doesn't mean that there is no content at all. You can genuinely make a meaningful difference. And that's even in content that you're inexperienced in. There's so many people inside of BPL that are like hyper specialized inside of heist or lab or bossing or whatever it may be. They are hyper specialized into that content, and you can learn directly from them, and they're willing to teach. They're willing to share that knowledge. They always are.
Yeah, for sure.
Also, to extend on that, if I may, the learning aspect, in my opinion, is one of the biggest opportunities you can have as a player in Path of Exile in general in the event, because usually beforehand they're like autistic people like me, in a good sense, that just share like extensive guides and in-depth knowledge on all things, like the exact chances for seed to upgrade when you're doing crop rotation, the most optimal layouts for these, explaining in detail why and how this works. And if you just want to learn the game, it's also a really good opportunity, like Varus just said, to just join the event to do exactly that, to get out of your comfort zone, maybe to just learn more things about the game. And the only thing you have to realistically bring to the table is just time. Because of course you can't just get to like maps on your own. Even when we power level a person through the acts in like an hour or something on a weekend, you have to have like at least a couple of hours, but you don't need to spend like 20 hours a day or something to learn all of this, or just to use the Discords before and after the event to learn just how the game works on a more min-max level when you really want to be as efficient as possible. And that can help a lot. It has helped me in the past for both trade and SSF to just learn and acquire new things, even though I thought I knew it all, but of course you never do.
Yeah, like you said, everybody of us has, I believe, like 10k plus hours in the game, and there's every BPL something. It might be just a tiny information, but every time we always learn something new about the game, about a farming method or a strategy you can use. And because we have so much mechanics to farm for the uniques, like Blight, Beasts, Heists, bossing stuff, and so on, there's always something you can improve, you can learn for new players especially. And that's a really, really good point, because you don't have this, I don't know what I have to, what I should do or what I can do. You just go into the Discord and, I don't know, sign up for a group you may be interested. Maybe you are interested in heist, and then go heisting. That's that easy. Speaking of those focused content, Salty, do you know or what was your focus in the last BPLs?
Complex question, because I usually do like a bunch of things. I usually admit myself to the event and announce myself to my team as being like, hey, if you need anything done, no matter what it is, how tedious or tiresome, just let me know. So I usually do a variety of things, but in like essence, it's usually content that requires just long grinding, because I want to get something to do that I can just do for like 20 hours, 30 hours straight. Of course, I have to say this because of like legal reasons. I, of course, only play like up to 16 hours, get a full 8-hour sleep with no interruptions, and then go back to gaming. I would never dare to extend those times, of course.
No.
But for those at maximum 16 hours a day, I want something to grind that I can just continue to play. So it varies from, I think in like the first BPLs, I did like the Delph races together with 7 back there, I think. It wasn't like BPL 4 or something. Or just like all kinds of stuff. I did a lot of ritual farming. One BPL, I did like ultimatum for the entire, for like the weekend. There was 3 days of ultimatum straight, which was rough, honestly. It wasn't as rough as like 3 days of Harbinger maps or just Harbingers itself.
Oh, yeah.
I also did like a one-man Sanctum team, so to speak. Of course, we're more people in the Sanctum team itself, but there was like some shortages, some complications for some of the members. So I basically ended up doing like 80% of all of this myself. And I decided before the event that it was probably a very bad idea. I didn't know it at the time. That was just going to do hitless ones, because if you have a stronger character and just one-shot everything, it should be better, right? It wasn't very good for my blood pressure, but it was an interesting experience at least to do this.
Yeah, I
like
remember
all these
that.
things. It was fun though, and like we said before, it's like it's so diverse. You can do so many things. Doesn't look like it on the surface, because of course every BPL you got to do some of the same things. Like we will always farm Alva like crazy because there's just one of those vials missing or something, or we farm Blight like crazy. But there are like so many things you can actually farm. It's impressive, honestly. Even when you know the game, it's still impressive to me how many farms there are actually that you can pull off for, again, every part of a player. Like if you're still in the acts, even there you can farm stuff usually. It's crazy, especially like in the current League of Breach. I think you can even farm those womb gifts in the acts as well. So even if you're only stuck in acts because you have an hour to play or something, it probably is still worth to join and do something and contribute something that is valuable.
Yeah, for sure. We talked a lot about the uniques we have to farm in the BPL, so we have to farm. But there is more in the BPL. There are races and bounties. And like we said earlier, Voracity is part of the racing team. So can you tell us a bit more about the racing and bounty stuff?
Yeah, so I'll start with the racing. Since in BPL those two are fairly separate systems when usually they're essentially under the same name, right? But the racing side of BPL focuses primarily on the first 12 hours. These days in BPL, it's more like the first 8 at most. But it's essentially a race to the bosses, right? It's a race to Eater, Exarch, Ubrid Ziri. Trying to name all of them off my head. I should actually know them, considering I do this every time.
I believe Incarnation.
There's Incarnation of Dread, Feared. That might be all of them. If it's not, crucify me, I guess. But
I believe the other race is Stealth 200.
Yeah, so these races are interesting because typically you would either do them solo, talking about standard formats, or you would do them with a a team that you already know. Whereas in BPL, you're essentially trying to, in a lot of cases, find people who are fast enough and are good enough to execute these races that you don't know, like personally. And that's very interesting, and it creates, honestly, quite a cool dynamic because you end up sending practice runs before BPL, and in these practice runs, you're also trying to get to know each other, at least to some extent.
Mm-hmm.
And then, yeah, on game day, you are sending it, and it's a good stepping stone for the team as well to have these races because it gives people a reason to push your fastest players. I mean, and that once the races are done, that puts them in a position where they can actually accelerate the progression of your team because they're able to start doing watchstone carries a lot earlier than they probably otherwise would be able to if they were just like messing about on some non-meta build and we're stuck in yellow maps or something. Yeah, they're able to do watchstone carries, and then they're able to generate maps, and it just accelerates everyone having them there. And yeah, in the past as well, the races in BPL have been strangely competitive. The times that are posted consistently are actually insane. They're very surprising considering the format. So you have to try very hard, and you have to plan a lot as well.
Yeah, and practice.
Yeah, the practice is big as well. I know. Right now, I think all teams are already practicing. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they are. I know Sarge and his group are practicing right now, and they're sending the full run, which is not something I'm doing. I'm mainly focusing on the acts. But there's different approaches each team will take for that. So that's the racing side. The bounty side, that encompasses more of like a feat of strength for your team. It's the bounties in a lot of cases are these incredibly difficult goals. Not all of them. Sometimes there's a meme goal on there or whatever, but in a lot of cases they're incredibly difficult goals, and only one person can submit a bounty. Or no, sorry, let me reword that. It's only one bounty can be submitted per person, and so these goals need to be spread across a lot of members on the team. I think right now it's 12 bounties, and so your team needs to be able to complete all of these across 12 different people. And that can be a challenge because you probably don't have 12 people who are these Giga Chad racers with insane gear on day 3. You need to actually start looking for other people and strategizing with them. And I like that because it's being part of the race. It's already enough for me. I don't want to take all the bounties as well. I think a lot of people look at it from that view. I want to help other people get their like naming lights or whatever, that sort of glory, however you want to see it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's
and
the
like you said,
bounty system as well.
Yeah, like you said, the bounties are really hard, comparable to like the end game challenges where you have to do a hitless Exarch, for example, or stuff like that. So and this time we have like finished 13 waves in a tier 17 ultimatum. That's pretty tough. So if you have any content you like and you are very specialized into it, you can just hit up the team leads and say, hey, I want to try this bounty. Can I get some help? Can I get some infos? This is always helping the team. So, like we said, the beginning of the event is mainly focused about the racing because the races are races, so they have to be fast. But the focus shifts a little bit about the days, and especially when the first daily drops. So, how's the communication shifting during the days, like in-game and in Discord during those periods when you have different focus points you specialize into it, Salty?
Ooh, it's difficult. I mean, the usually before the event there is a lot of talk about like pre-planning those strats. And during the event, there is usually the problem that people don't really look at Discord too much, honestly. They usually just play in-game and they focus on this. And for days, I think last PPL, it was a bit more extreme on what I experienced. Usually the dailies were like handled with care and people like prepared for this. But last PPL especially, I think it was on my team, we were literally just waiting like an hour before even and like pre-plan, be like, hey, what if this quest drops? What if this daily drops? What if this is a speed daily? And like we literally prepared like characters like extra characters in towns to wait for like a speed edit to drop that requires to look at a level 36 vendor or something, right? Or like we prepared some ritual vessels in advance for some mobs just in case maybe something is dropping that requires you to catch a very specific monster in one of the ritual vessels. And it's like honestly just like for me the best part of every day. It's like the peak of every day. The rest is still good, but it's like the excitement because you don't know what's gonna happen, right? Like for all the other stuff, I know the bounties beforehand, I know the races beforehand, I know what everybody's kind of doing, like who's gonna delve, who's gonna do blight and all this. But those races, especially, and some of these usually take like a minute. It can also be like 2 hours. Then there's also the ones you only have to complete in like 24-hour windows, so it doesn't really have any sense of urgency, but sometimes they're also like very long things that can take several days to complete. So it's like you start this on day one immediately. And I think that's for me is like the coolest thing because there literally mostly everybody can contribute. We've had like so many quests where we're just like, you have to craft a smoking blunt arrow quiver off the cloud. So everybody on the team went into a town, bought like all the alterations they could with the currency we had, and then we literally distributed through the guild stash all kinds of items, all kinds of currency, and everybody was scrapped for like 5 minutes, and it was like so much fun also to just chill in Discord and talk about it, and everybody's like, I had another one, drop it, bank it. It's like, it's so fun, man. It's so good.
Yeah, for sure. I remember also the time where you have to figure out the best way how you get to it. I mean, like crafting the smoking blunt arrow quiver, it's like, okay, you just spam alterations. But we have like different scenarios where we had like quality gems we had to put to a different quality. So we managed, do we do plight? Do we do a lab or using GCPs? Or what is the best way to handle this daily? So yeah, I can totally see that. It's every 12 hours when they drop, it's like very exciting moment.
It's like also there's like it's just impressive to see what some people are able to do. It's like I don't remember what it was. I think there was like a quest for a very specific amount of XP on a gem. And I remember this quest dropping, and everybody's like, how do we get this? We have absolutely no clue how to get exactly this XP number. Like, how are you supposed to? And someone joined the call, was like, hey guys, I know the answer. He dropped like a knowledge bomb. We're like, what the fuck? That's a thing? Like, that's exactly just, how do you know? So you're like, I just farmed this sometimes like 3 years ago or something. And we completed this goal. I think we're like 100% completed the goal before anybody else was at like 10%. Because they didn't have any idea. And it's like, it's so cool to contribute with some very niche specific knowledge.
Yeah.
And for the focus change during the event, it usually is quite nice if you're a person who just has like more of a general build, because there will always be a team lead or something like those bounties, for example, that require you to do something very odd in the world of Whitecrust, or like a team that's like, hey, I need someone, like usually it's the call I usually answer to is like, hey, I have like 43 Winter squares that don't drop anything. You just need to kill the boss and hopefully give me like a proliferation flask from there. And it's like, just do this now. And then it's like asking for some weird things, like just buy level 32 two-stone rings from a vendor or whatever. Like it's so weird, so odd. But yeah, that's fun. And usually trying to be active in Discord, reading the in-game global channel. That is also very important because most people still don't join this for some reason. Will help you to find some work, to find something to do, find a goal, find something to answer to.
Yeah, for sure. The Discord can be a bit overwhelming at first, so there are a lot of channels, a lot of groups, but just go to the general, ask there for help maybe, or just join a team voice. There's someone who will help you. So closing this up, I would hear from you one of your, I don't know, like a typical BPL moment. So what is one event in the past where you say, "Oh, this was so fun! I never forget this." Like Veracity, have you anything you can contribute?
Oh god, there's so many different moments. I guess being on brand for me, I would think back to this is content that I specialize in, right? The race that I think happened in BPL 6 where every single team was chain failing the feared during that race, and it dragged on for a very long time. And that the feeling I got when I actually managed to be the first person in the event to clear that feared, and it was an incredibly hard one. I wish the races were as hard as that. But that feeling that I got during that BPL clearing that was absolutely amazing, and seeing global chat completely pop off, and then I was getting messaged by the other teams as well, asking like, "Oh, did you really actually clear it? Is it over? Whatever." That felt amazing, and being able to immediately pass out after that was done as well felt great. But that's probably that's one of the moments. But as I said, there's so many, even ones that aren't racing. But that's one that I occasionally think back to that because it did feel very good, you know.
Yeah.
This is the good content.
This is such a bad idea, dude.
That is content right there.
y'all,
Yeah, that is
content.
content for right
We're gonna
there.
brick it, dude.
Very funny. There it is.
Do it for the vine.
No ping.
sorry.
I can't see. I have too many auras, man. I only have 85.
Fine.
No way. Do not use that MTX.
Where the
Wait.
tablet? Wander, I need the
Oh,
iPad.
he's got ice trap, dude. Okay, let's go. Let's go.
Alright. We're in, boys.
Give me the iPad.
Holy damage.
The boss just instantly
Content.
dead.
See, that's a fucking good idea.
The boss just insta died.
Like you said, there are a lot of moments. Like we have this one moment where we did, like at the end of the BPL, a 6-man Uber Maven party where we tried to survive the memory game. And every time someone is pulling out the last unique, he was farming for like, I don't know, 20 hours and it's finally dropped. There are like a lot of moments. Salty, what was your favorite BPL moment?
Yeah, my favorite. I've also like so many moments I could talk about, but there's one specific moment that is always up in my mind. And I have a clip. I don't know if this is like able to be shown on YouTube, but if you can do this in like editing, you could show the clip. Otherwise, just put it like in the description or comments or whatever. Is like we're doing safe houses, which is a big part of BPLs, right? You want to do safe houses for experience. They're very, very good for experience per hour, and usually are shared in global, and you can just join them or farm them yourself. And one particular run was when there's a slight chance for strongboxes to spawn in those safe house runs, and they have also a very low chance to be rare. Now, of course, nobody's carrying around wisdom scrolls all the time, so you usually click them or you just avoid them because there's one specific mod called Detonate Dead on them. Now, I was under the impression that we all had quite tanky characters, and I had like a slam build or whatever, and I went in there, clicked the box, and didn't read the mods. I saw, oh, there's DD. So I dashed away. However, everybody else in the group dashed right into the explosion, and they all died. I just PK'd my entire team to a box. And we were laughing like for hours and even weeks, months, and years after this over this specific moment.
Weiß ich das auch nicht. Ich weiß nicht wirklich bis. Wow. Das wird. Wir sind Stickern in dem Feldhaus.
Alle PK'd! I
Mit
PK'd
6 Leuten.
everybody!
Genau.
Salty macht eine Strongbox auf mit DD und killt uns alle 5.
Perfekt.
And still one of the probably the most positively memorable ones I have in my mind. Of course, there were also others that were quite hilarious, but this is probably like the biggest one. And it's just fun, man. It's just things that just happen during such an event when you're just exhausted, maybe, or just chilling in Discord with people for like 16 hours a day, and it's just hilarious, man. It's great.
Yeah, I mean, the BPL is creating a lot of memes, and especially into the end of the event, it's more fun than the real grind that you like to compete with each other and try to win and stuff like that. It's more like fun, and that's one part I really enjoy about the BPL. Just sitting in Discord, listening to others, making some memes and fun. So that's very cool. Is there anything you want to add, like maybe add to say to new players, or something we didn't mention here, like Voracity? Do you have anything?
I would mostly just say try the event out. Even you don't have to be this 12-hour-a-day gamer in order to play the event and enjoy your time. You don't have to be like sub 6 hours in acts or whatever benchmark you have in mind. You don't have to be that. There is a place you can genuinely get to know people in BPL. You can learn so much about the game. It's honestly, it's just a lot of fun. I think more people need to try it, honestly.
Yeah. And what you said, like, you don't have to be a sub 6 hour act player. You can join group leveling and do your first group leveling session and be like done in 3-4 hours, because we have a lot of groups leveling for the event start as well. So, Salty, do you have anything to say?
I second this. Honestly, I mean, we've heard this so often that everybody has a place, and I do firmly believe that's the case, even though, of course, it's usually, as most things in PoE, not really dominated by people who just want to like go very hard on content, but it's definitely a point of contestant of contestation in there. But yeah, just if you just want to learn about the game, if you just want to have fun with people in a very nice environment, and just learn things, just talk with people, see the game from a maybe different angle than you have before. There's literally, like for us, is a place for everybody in here to find some more fun. And it's one probably of the best spots to do so, because you're not like sitting in a Twitch chat and watching a streamer that doesn't read your messages or whatever when you ask him how he's doing X or Y, because you can literally ask someone and there will be like 3 people answering like massive essays explained in detail and very carefully, even though you might just be a noob, on how to exactly perform this. And it's probably just the best places to learn about the game, because PoE at the end of the day is a game of knowledge. It's not really much about skill or much about like how much time you invest. If you know more than other people, you will usually make more currency, you'll farm more, you will gear your character fast, and you have probably then therefore also more fun. I think it's like the best event for that.
Yeah. Nice ending. So if this sounds interesting for you guys and you are interested and want to participate in the next BPL, which is starting on December 5th, the registrations are now open. You can register on the website. The link will be in the video description. And yeah, thanks for Salty and Voracity to be here, and have fun in BPL 18.
Yeah, have fun. Bye-bye.
Enjoy.